Alright, welcome back to Living Our American Dream. Today's video, I'm going to change the way that I attach my homemade built Squaredrop Camper to my trailer. The old way, and I've got a lot of comments on this, it did actually work, but every now and then the camper pod would shift on the trailer by an inch or so. And what I used to do is I used to have this cable ran through a hole in this crib across to the other side and captured the frame of the trailer with a 1/4 inch steel cable, 2 of them. Again, this worked pretty well, except sometimes on long trips I would notice that the camper would shift back and forth, and not really ideal, I guess. So I thought it would be fun for me to, as an engineer, to design a new attachment method to the trailer. So we're gonna do that today. Let me show you what I'm thinking. All right, so the new method I want to be removable and not to really have a whole lot stuck on the trailer. So I've been thinking about this a lot. The last couple camping trips, I would sit in my chair and I would kind of think about how I want to do this. This piece of rectangular tubing is going to be the key. So I'm going to cut this thing into 4 pieces. I'll have 4 connection points on the pod and on the trailer. So picture a piece that's, say, 6 or 8 inches long. That will be attached to the side of the trailer, I guess like this. And then I'm gonna have a hole drilled in it with a 7/8 bolt that would go through like this. And then on the camper pod, I'm going to take this piece of 1/4 inch thick steel. I'm gonna drill a hole through the center. Actually, I'm gonna cut it into smaller pieces. We'll drill a hole in the center. We'll weld this nut onto the center of it. Then I'll drill 4 holes in the corners. I'm gonna use these lag bolts to attach it to the pod. So this will be firmly affixed to the pod, 4 of these. And then I will have this plate with the nut. So attached to the pod, and I'll be able to put the bolt through the piece of steel and into here. And that will fix the pod to the trailer in 4 spots. Now doing it this way should be able to keep it from shifting front and back, side to side, or obviously up and down. So let's see if I can make this work. Okay, so I'm gonna utilize these stake pockets here. They're actually made in the trailer for a 2x4, but I bought that steel to kind of fit them. So we're gonna cut our pieces of rectangular steel 6 inches. That'll stick just a little up past the top of the pod here, and also just a little bit past the bottom, just so I got a little bit of play here. Now, I should say this bottom piece of wood right here, in case you haven't seen my videos before, this is a treated 4x6, solid piece of 4x6, like a skid on the bottom of this pod, so it'll slide up on the trailer. So what I'm gonna do is attach those lag bolts, those lag screws that I showed you, directly into that 4x6. So I won't actually be penetrating the sleeping quarters or the actual wall of the pod itself, but just the skid. So there's 4 of these, 1 on each corner. That's what we're gonna use. 6 inches is there. 12, 18, 24. Now that we've got these stubby pieces, the next step is going to be to cut 4 plates out of here. So I'm going to do that next. So now that I've got these brackets attached with the nut welded on here, if you caught in the video, first I took a regular bit, and then I ended up using a paddle bit because the first time that regular bit wandered on me. But I drill a recess hole in the 4x6 so that if I have to screw this screw in farther than the back side of the bracket, it has a place to go. But now what I'm doing, I'm kind of assembling this backwards, because once these are in place, I can put the bolt on, and it's kind of hand tight, but it's still loose enough to move around here. I'm going to run the the holes in here so I can put the bolts in here. 4 bolts are going to hold this rectangle piece into position, and then I'm assuming I'm going to have to go in here with probably a Dremel tool or something and open up this hole just a little bit, because it's pretty snug in there, and I want it to be snug, but I also want it to be able to go in and screw in by hand. So I'm gonna put these holes in and assemble one of these, and once it's all assembled and everything fits correctly, I can pull this piece back out and open these holes up just a little bit and then paint it. I want to paint it black, and then I'll bolt it back into position. And then my plan is for this piece here to just become a fixture of the trailer. It'll just stay here. Now, you may ask, I'm trying to get into the frame here, you may ask why I don't just weld this, because I could weld it top and bottom and then on the inside. I do want to be able to take this off. If I ever want to put 2x4s into these stake pockets, I can still do that. I just pull 4 bolts off, and this bracket will come right out of here. All right, so I have one of these joints built. Let's take a quick look at it so you guys understand how it's gonna work, and then I'll get the rest of these built. So the concept is, I've got this bracket that you saw me fabricate attached to the pod with 4 1/4-inch structural lag bolts, okay? This nut is welded to the bracket. This square tubing is bolted to the frame of the trailer via the stake pocket. Then I use a 7/8 bolt and another nut on the inside of here, if you can see this. So this is important. So I put a lock washer on the outside right here, and then I put another nut right here. So the idea is I slide this bolt in here and I capture it into place almost like a pin, but it can't rattle and it can't come loose because it's locked into place. Meanwhile, it's also threaded into this nut. That holds the trailer from moving back and forth this way, back and forth, forwards and backwards, and then obviously up and down in all 3 directions. So, questions, back up here, back up a little bit, Monica. Questions that you're gonna have, that you're gonna critique me on. You're gonna ask me, why did I use such a small bolt to attach this piece to the frame of the trailer? I can tell you, as an engineer, this 1/4-inch bolt connection right here with 4 of these has more than enough strength, shear strength, to hold this pod on here, probably just these 4, let alone the other 12 that are going to be around the rest of the trailer. Because these look really small in comparison to this 7/8 bolt, so let's explain that. As the pod wants to shift back and forth or up and down, it's going to put a bending load on here. Now this bolted connection on the 1/4-inch, so if I had a 1/4-inch bolt in here, this would want to bend. As this moves back and forth, this would want to bend. But the bending strength of this high-grade 7/8 bolt is going to keep this from wanting to bend. It's going to be a lot more rigid, okay? So the combination of these small bolts down here and the one large 7/8 bolt acting as a pin is going to keep this thing into place really well. So the last question you're probably going to ask, or that I thought about when I designed this, is why didn't I just use a pin in here? Why didn't I just put a bracket up here and slide a pin with some sort of a I don't know, a cotter key or something in there. So I could have done that. I definitely could have done that. However, I will say that the threaded connection with a lock nut on here is going to keep this rigid and nothing will rattle. So I guess I'm kind of particular about that. I think it's going to work really good. I'm going to fabricate up the other 3 of these and get them installed. And then I think towards the end of this video, maybe we'll put the camper on the back of the Jeep or the truck and take a ride and see how everything works. All right, so I got all 4 of these things put on. We're going to take a quick walk around and show you what the final product looks like. And hopefully you guys will leave me your comments and tell me what you think of this, if it's better or worse than the cable idea. So you've seen this one already, but now it's got some paint on it, and this is the finished product. So remember, this bolt is 4 inches long. So 4 inches is right to here, right to my fingernail. So the threads of this are fully engaged in this nut, and it's locked with the lock nut, the lock washer on here. So again, it's holding it in all 3 directions. So we've got 1/4 inch lag bolts, 1/4 inch machine screws, and then the 7/8 large bolt. This one right here was a little bit interesting because we had to take the spare tire off. Not a big deal, but again, the same setup. You can see this rigid connection. I don't know, just looking at it like this, I feel like this is going to be a much sturdier solution than the cables were. So this one's obviously right underneath my cord, but not really a big deal. It just kind of hangs here. So same setup. I like it. So that's going to do it for this video. I think right now, maybe for ending, I'll hook it up to the Jeep, take it for a quick ride, maybe get a couple clips for you guys, but that's going to do it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a few comments in the comment section if you don't mind, and let me know what your idea would have been to attach this to the trailer. I had several different ideas, and this is the best one that I came up with, so I would love to hear some of your ideas. Thanks for watching.